Today on Stamp TV, I'm going to show you a fun card project featuring the brand new stamp set by Beth Saleka called Lovely Ladybug. The Lovely Ladybug stamp set has a wide variety of ladybug bodies that can be mixed and matched to create adorable patterned bugs. However, many of the individual elements in this set make fun and happy backgrounds and borders too. I'm going to start today's project by making a fun background. But let me show you the tools and products you're going to need to do this card. First, you're going to need some assorted cardstock, and the colors that I'm using are the Gina Designs Pure Luxury White cardstock, our Red Hot cardstock, and our Fresh Asparagus cardstock. Then you're going to need some ink, and I'm going to use the Gina Designs Red Hot ink, Fresh Asparagus ink, and Powder Blue ink. Then you're going to need some ribbon, and this is the double-stitched Fresh Asparagus ribbon in the 5/8 of an inch width. Then I have one of the buttons from the Mixed Berries button collection by Gina Designs, and this is a red hot button. You can see how that matches the ink and the cardstock. That button assortment has several different colors in it, but red hot is one of the predominant colors. Then you're also going to need a little bit of twine, and this is the We Are Memory Keepers twine in red. I also have some scissors and some mono-adhesive tape, and then I have a Cuttlebug folder. Now the one I'm going to use is one of the larger ones, and this is the polka dot Cuttlebug folder, but you can also use Seeing Spots, or you can use the Swiss dot one. Anything with circles will really set off the rest of the project nicely. So to begin, I'm going to start with this larger piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to create a fun background using some of our brand new ink pads and Beth's new fun set. So the first image I want to use here is this little swirl of dots. Now this kind of looks like a little trail left behind when the ladybug is walking, like a little busy trail. But it also makes a really fun background. So I'm going to do that using some of the powder blue ink. And I'm going to start up in this top corner and stamp that there. Now what's nice about this particular ink is, this particular image, is you can see through these clear stamps, so you're going to be able to connect these dots and make it look like a whole chain of little dots going all over your background. So here's my next one, and you can do this any way you like, but you can see how nice and fluid that looks. And make sure you turn it with each new impression. And of course, they don't have to be perfectly spaced, because remember, this is a background. It's going to be very busy, and then there's going to be focal images and a greeting on top. So, all right. Now I'm going to pick up some of the dot pattern in the center like this, so it looks like it's spitting off. And we'll take one here. And I'll just do one up here and come in from this. Isn't this fun? It's so easy to do. And you can make it look much more subtle if you use, let's say you use our innocent pink cardstock and then use the innocent pink ink. Then it will just look like a soft watermark, but it'll definitely have texture. Do a couple more of this, and then we're going to add some other colors in there. So there's a fun swirly pattern. Now, my next color is going to be the Red Hot, and I'm going to use the larger dot. Beth has put 2 different size dots in this set, and you can use them to fill in the ladybug bodies where the empty holes are for dots, but I like to use this as a background too. So I'm going to randomly stamp these all over. Isn't our ink pretty? It's so nice and solid, so easy to use. And it grabs right onto these clear stamps. I'll put one right in here. Okay, and I think I need one down here. Okay, my next image is going to be the smaller polka dot, and I'm going to pull in some of that fresh asparagus now. I'm just making dots randomly around the whole piece of background paper. And this is a nice small one, so it fits inside just about any little spot. And don't forget, when you're working with the dots, have some go off the cardstock too, so everything's not right in the center of your paper, but rather kind of coming in from the outside like real pattern paper would. And my last color is going to be, well, I'll keep this one on here because I'm going to make this one, I'm going to use this one again, but I'm going to use the powder blue now and add a few dots in powder blue, just to finish it off a little bit. Now, when I first did this design, I decided that my whole background was going to look just like this. But then I decided to add some pattern paper on top of it, which I'm going to show you. So if you're going to do it the way my finished card is, you only have to decorate the top half. I'm going to cover up a lot of this, but I just wanted to show you how fun and easy it is to create that kind of background. All right, so my next step is to create a greeting. And I'm going to do the greeting in the red hot ink. I'm going to use a couple different greetings. I'm going to start with happy, because this is going to be a birthday card for a little girl. So my greeting is going to say, happy birthday, little lady. I think that's kind of cute. So I'm going to have to lean over this so you might see the top of my head, but put happy right there. And then I'm going to use birthday. Right under it. Happy birthday. And there is a stamp in our collection, in this particular stamp set, that says little lady, so it's all one word, or all one greeting. And that one will go right here. So there's my greeting. Happy birthday, little lady. That'll be so cute. And now I'm going to create a ladybug. So I'm going to grab another little square here, and I'm going to start with the ladybug body. This is the ladybug body I'm going to use. It's got these empty holes here that you can fill in with black if you want a traditional ladybug, or you can fill it in with fun, bright colors if you want to match your project, which is what I'm going to do. So my ladybug's going to be on an angle here. I'm going to put her right in the center. So there's the red part. Now I'm going to add a little head on top of her. Let me close up the red hot and grab the fresh asparagus. Because instead of a traditional ladybug, my ladybug is going to be fun and bright colored. And there we go. There is the head. Now Beth has also put a couple different types of little antennas for us to choose from. I'm going to use this curly one, since this ladybug is going to be a girl ladybug. I assume there are boy ladybugs. And I'm going to add this little notch here is for this little triangle stamp, and you can stamp that in either black or whatever color you want. And again, I'm going to do this in the fresh asparagus. So, there we go. So now I filled that in. And now I want to do some fun dots. I'm going to use the smaller dot here And I'm going to do the dots in the powder blue. I think I have some powder blue ink left over. Now the bigger dots fit a little bit better, but it's fun to use the small one because then they have a little white border around them. So I'm going to do all powder blue ones. And one up here. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you can actually see how nice and crisp that ink is. Isn't that nice? And I love how quickly our ink dries. It dries right away, so you don't have to worry about smearing it. Okay, now my next step is going to be to add a piece of background paper to both my focal image and to the little greeting here. So I have a piece of red hot cut out that fits perfectly. And I'm going to use my mono adhesive to adhere those two together. There we go, there's one. And the little bug. Okay, there is, oh, let me move that over a little bit. There we go. Okay, so there's my focal image and my greeting, and I'm going to just put those aside for a second. Now I'm going to make a panel using this fresh asparagus cardstock that is going to come across the bottom here, and it's going to be with the Cuttlebug folder, the polka dot Cuttlebug folder, to create texture that will then match the other dots that you're seeing all over in the pattern paper that I created. So I'm going to do that by laying down my A and B plate, and then I'm going to pop this little piece of cardstock in there and just make sure that it's straight, and it is, and then my other B plate on top and roll that through. So now I have this nice textured piece of fresh asparagus with those nice bigger polka dots that will look so nice up against the rest of this pattern that I made. And I'm going to tape that on right now using some of this mono adhesive. And this is a little tricky when you're not right on top of it, but that looks pretty good. All right, there we go. Oh, I still see a little bit here. Let me move that over a bit. Maybe I will lean over it and get my head in the way again. All right, there we go. Now, my next step is going to be to add some fresh asparagus ribbon on top of that. So that's going to come down just a little bit like that, and I'll cut that. So there's a little bit of slack on either side. And before I actually adhere this, I'm going to put this whole panel onto some red hot. And that'll make the whole thing a lot sturdier, so when I attach that button, the cardstock won't bend. All right. There we go. Looking good. All right, and now just position that where I want it and flip it over and add a little bit of mono adhesive to either side and fold that excess over. There we go. Now I want this to be loose in the center because now I'm going to add this little button, and I want this button, I want to be able to thread underneath that, so don't tape that ribbon down. All right. So I'm going to slide the ribbon underneath, the twine underneath, and then I'm going to thread one end of it through one hole. And just because a button has a couple of holes, doesn't mean 4 holes, doesn't mean you have to thread the twine through all of them. You can, let me just cut that. I think I frayed it a little bit. There we go. you can just thread the twine through 2 of them and leave 2 of the holes empty. Now, if you have trouble like I'm having, you might want to lick the ribbon and twist it a little bit, or the twine and twist it a little bit, and that will make it a little bit easier to thread through. Still having trouble with the white piece. Let's try it one more time, and I'll trim that onto a point more and see if that helps. See, all card makers struggle. There we go, at times. So if you have trouble threading your buttons, you're not alone. But they're so pretty, so they're worth that little bit of extra effort. Okay, so now I have both through there, and I'm going to tie a knot and make it nice and tight. And when I make it tight, that's going to pull that ribbon like that. Now, if it's not positioned properly, at this point you can lift it and scoot it up a little bit so it looks a little bit better. And I'm just going to leave this in a knot. I'm not going to tie a bow this time because I don't want too much emphasis right in that area. My greeting is going to go right underneath and my focal image to the side. So just want a little hint of red color there on that button. So that little bit of red twine is just perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to lay these out and make sure they fit properly. My ladybug's going to go up here, and my greeting is going to go down here. Now I can see that I'm going to want to move my ribbon up just a hair so my whole greeting shows. I'll add a little bit more adhesive back here to do that. There we go. And the same thing on the other side. I think my adhesive was up high enough there. There we go. I'm going to tuck that underneath and adhere that onto the fresh asparagus part of this card. There we go. Slip it under there. Okay. I don't know if you're a perfectionist like that, but I have to have it straight or I have to keep playing with it. All right, and now I'm going to tape this part over here on this side. This is a fun little sketch with or without ribbon. If you don't want to use ribbon, you can always just use a strip of cardstock or pattern paper too, and it's a fun little sketch. There we go. So there is my little card, and now I'm going to pop that whole panel right onto a white card base. So a little bit more adhesive on the back. I always like to put a little bit on the ribbon too. This way it doesn't come loose. A little bit of frayed edge there I got on my tape. And let's position that. I like that nice wide white border around the outside. That really looks striking and really brings out all that fun color. So there is my finished card project. Whether you're making fun, vibrant cards for kids or adorable cards of friendship and love for the special adults in your life, the lovely Ladybug stamp set is a great choice for year-round stamping fun.